All right, it's time to bait everyone into the next game as well. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and thank you guys out there for your patience as we got game number 74 up and running. It's time to go to Miramar once again here for the final time of the day. Then we'll be going to Erangel after. Time for the real names. It's Pansy and Sims. Take it away for all the action on the desert.
Thank you very much, and yes, game 2 about to start up. I just took a second to watch that adorable attempt at banter from the North American Pro League casters. Very sweet of them.
It's really cute how, like, Moses, we know, doesn't care anymore, says his mind. Matrim is too nice and tries to, you know, just have a quick bit of a jab at EU, but he's just too nice and too sweet.
It's a gentle one.
Steve sits on the boundary, doesn't he? It's quite funny with hearing. He's like,
do you reckon it hurts sitting on the fence that much?
Don't know. Come on, Steve. I want to hear you get aggressive. I want to hear some just trash EU. We want to hear some aggressive.
Rich, it's hard when their best player is European. You know what I mean? Like they can't actually say anything. They end up just kind of like, you know, back to the point. So good fun. Nice to see a bit of interest being built around the MPL aside from Moses' Twitter. Let's get into the game, though, before we get some more interesting comments from him. Anyway.
Starting up at the north and heading down south. Navi will be happy. They're out of the plane early. Boots on the ground, job done. They can be looting up and kicking off. You look all the way further afield, and the teams that like to loot somewhere in the westerly embankment may have a bit of a difficult time, or at least a slower time. It won't be difficult. No one will really bother them unless Liquid decides to drive off and try and kick FaZe while they're down, as we saw previous weeks. Really pushing the melee. FaZe will have to get some vehicles and go find a foothold on this one. If the circle comes closer to home, then maybe they do decide to loot a little bit off. And it's not bad. We've got full play. If everyone's generally happy, generally speaking at least. FaZe, Kumasera, Montenueva might be a bit of a push if the Knights want to extend their reach over that way, so you'd expect them to go Kumasera and just get going. FaZe already been shot by CrowCrowd. I can see that on the map as we speak. You guys are watching this one at home, so you'll also be able to see it. But, yeah, there isn't actually that many teams that are going to be out of place, so transition-wise, it should be fairly simple. You should be able to get all 4 members into this one. There's no excuses for losing people on transition. NIP, it'll only be a bit of a micro-maneuver, a bit deeper into the circle. For Team Liquid, they'll probably just go up the main road and maybe post up. It'll certainly be more central. They've got to be careful where Vitality and DA are. Vitality have a bit of a cross. Sometimes they like to go across the road and then just play off the back of San Martin up in the hillside, but so do TSM. It's further away from the circle, so you wouldn't expect them to do that. They could actually kick it along that main road between banking off the side of Hacienda and where Gustav is in a little broken down compound. You'll catch people on rotation there because that is pinpoint central position. Rory should come further inwards rather than being off there on his own. It's his usual loot location, which is fair play, but you'd expect them to reel him in. The only really difficult stance of getting into this one's probably down on the south. FaZe will be already in there. Liquid will do one and easy, just rotate around Picado.
Nice little adjustment from FaZe, though, at least. That's something to note.
Rather than going up further, and again, it stops them. It's looting time. No one else is going to punish them or push them, but it's just time to loot and time to gear, which is the worst factor of it. M19, DA, CrowCrowd, where they go and their choices they take to the circle, that's the only real problem that we may see in the real issues going forward with this one.
Again, this should be a relatively calm start, I believe. If you look at the available rotation routes here, it's pretty much anyone's game. Even the teams on the south side, as you said, might have a little bit more of an issue than anyone, but there's going to be plenty of room. We'll see what the teams kind of aim for here. I'm wondering what sort of positions they try and pick as the more paramount ones, considering a lot of them do have pick of the litter here. If you're already starting out in the east, and a lot of the eastern teams in that last circle certainly suffered, so hopefully for them they can maybe have a better shot at things, especially that lower pack, Vitality, Reciprocity, Unity, and ENCE. They all kind of went down very early on. This time, a lot of those teams will at least have the ability to be quite central, so we'll see.
A strong place off this one will be just above San Martin. We've seen Vitality and TSM have a wander around there, mainly because she's safe from the road if you want to transition across. It's just where we're seeing Dastish now uphill from there. You'll be able to take point, overlook all of the teams, all of the looting, everything else. You will make your presence aware to NIP, but again, an uphill battle. There's no reason to push that one. They are in a 2-2 split. If you watch how they like to loot, you'll know that there are teams that do come across, or individual players from NIP that do like to loot over this way, take the hangar and move on. Unity is going to get involved rather early. They just need to be really careful they don't go too deep and split their resources and end up getting kick from behind, to be honest, if Liquid pass them on rotation.
I do want to talk about that,
side.
because we know that Liquid previously said they really found these rotation routes hard to any eastern circle, northeast, around that area, because of the amount of teams in front of them. So I'm wondering if they've been able to adjust that. We haven't seen them struggling too much as of late, but I do wonder how they're going to approach this, because they haven't been able to have that same, you know, centralized up play anymore, because there's just too many teams already kind of picking those areas and having the easier jump off points. So I do wonder how they're going to approach this. This isn't necessarily a great circle for Liquid, because they seem to just have that mental kind of block on it sometimes. I wonder how much they've worked on it, because if they're aware it's an issue and they don't like it, I'm sure they'll be putting in the time to try and correct that. So I do wonder how they're going to come out from this, where they decide to opt to go.
Because they're no longer springboarding straight to the middle of the map, are they? They'll be very aware that NIP, TSM, and maybe even a few other teams have already rotated early. So for them, they like to springboard off the back of Picardo. And with it being such a centralized position on the map, you always have a big advantage of being able to rotate and move wherever you like. This one will be difficult. Again, you touched on it, how these eastern sides can be a problem. It's usually Samty and Gemty that tend to go down first, because it's always the straggler of Team Liquid, the one who's lagging behind, who tends to, unfortunately, die on rotation.
Now, speaking of rotation, Liquid have opted to go further east here. Now, we saw them clashing previously in that area with Na'Vi when the circle kind of centralized on that. This time, you've almost got a polar opposite side for Na'Vi, so it's very unlikely they'd even end up in that area. So for me, this is interesting. It looks like Liquid have done a little bit of an adjustment, headed over towards that side. Maybe feeling CrowCrowd, Reciprocity aren't so much of a team to worry about, or maybe they can just find the timing to get there first. These guys are meticulous. They'll go over the demos. They'll go over all available content to be able to make sure they've got full idea of rotation time, routes, where they tendencies of teams. So I'd be curious to see what they've been able to kind of get away from that. Maybe feeling Vitality, don't keep full control on that area. Considering that used to be where Reciprocity was, there was a bit of danger when that used to happen. Obviously, both teams suffered from that.
I was surprised the Knights have been allowed into the position that Ratchet was talking about, above San Martin.
Oh, wait, Senya's been spun out. Hold on, he's just been pulled out of that buggy. Timmy's got a good view on it. I don't know how close. I think a Doozy's not. Yeah, best option and a Doozy aren't too far behind, but this is not ideal. Na'Vi don't want this. This wasn't what they were opting for. I don't know. This is a hard choice. Neither team are in perfect positions. They're both in the circle, but this slows them down. Senya is pinned, though.
They just need to be really careful here to Winstrike that they don't get punished for diving on out willy-nilly. I'm seeing Tracer fire from the backlines. I don't think it's going to be an IP from a distance. It is. I can see on the map, Gax is taking a few pot shots. They're the warning sign for Na'Vi to pull back. Senya ducking, diving, dodging, weaving, everything he can.
Where's the Mazzarini skins? Oh, hello, Tixie. Not bad.
Finally finds him. Smoke will be open. I think he's ingrained too much behind that little rock side and that rock face there to be able to
I don't think they can
be confirmed.
On that. Yeah.
Winstrike disengage from this one altogether. Don't waste any utility time, bullets, bandages, whatever, and just go and find the new foothold, boys.
I would say, though, Winstrike don't have a bad position on it either. They've got a decent enough position. It is going to be that later circle, though. That's the thing. If you're planning in advance, maybe it's a bit of a problem.
Please do it.
That'd be beautiful. What a welcome back that would be. See, he's obviously going to be a little bit rusty, a little bit, maybe a bit quieter than you'd imagine normally. Going to take it a little bit easy. It looks like Winstrike are peeling off this one. I'm imagining they do have vehicles further back. This is not where they normally loot and or start. So yeah, they've been able to keep those safe. I don't see any tires gone. So that's good for them. They can peel off if they fancy it. They've certainly slowed the roll of Na'Vi. That's going to hinder them. Might limit their options. I don't know how many vehicles Na'Vi have, considering Senya lost his, so they might have to double up if they have that available. Beyond that, though, NIP certainly aware of their position now. Raise Your Edge would have heard those shots, I think, maybe. Close enough by. So you can see Vard popping a couple of shots off as well. M19 on the southeast, going on the long swing. FaZe moving in on the west. They've just taken their time. They're not in a mad hurry. They're pretty comfortable. They came in a nice circle from Vincere, so they can work their way in. They will not get central point, but they can play the outskirts game. G2 have proven that is very, very viable, but this time G2 are not going to be on the outskirts. They are centralized.
I like how he touched on the demos and the VOD. It's such an important task, and an important thing. That's a big, strong one. An important thing that you have to do for your analysts, for your coaches.
Yeah.
We play public matches, and we'll have a look at where the playing came in and try and remind ourselves. But knowing where teams are moving is so important.
Who's getting that little compound just southwest of Raise Your Edge? The amount of times we see it end around here, I wouldn't be surprised if Raise Your Edge try maybe 2-2 split it, but this is like a magnet. Everyone is just trying to get towards that one road.
Look at this.
Yeah, it is. Look at it. Everyone's swarming it. I think Raise Your Edge can do where Na'Vi were holding when they had that Na'Vi fight against them, and maybe put some players down further south. Yes, they are going to 2-2 split. Dangerous, though.
How many people are going deep east, though? for the swing. Wreck,
Oh my
Liquid,
God, yeah.
ENCE, CrowCrowd are there. M19 are going to get run into because they were slow out off the bat. So we've got a fight on two fronts here. I tell you what, because of this rotation on the east, where do you make landfall in this circle? Where do you come in? Because they'll be scared of the main road, surely.
Yeah, there's no way you can come along that main road. Maybe you can come in towards that crossroads,
they're probably all falling in the same pattern here.
Yeah, I feel as though they're all going to try and go north onto the hill, onto that big rocky sort of hillside, and then try and work down towards TSM.
Hello.
We do have Reels working his way up. That's towards Unity. That is slap bang, very much just south of the circle's central point. That sounded like a pan hit. He's a lucky boy to be alive. Tizerin and Blaston might have an off angle on this one. Drayden needs to try and find a way to hold that out, try and find maybe an angle to support or just kind of consolidate. Reels very much out on a limb here, but he is safe from the other side. Surprisingly, no one's got an angle on his back. So Unity split into this 2-1-1. I don't know if they can hold this so comfortably. It looks like that nade could be pretty important if Tizerin gets that one right. That could find all three. It doesn't in the end.
If they've kept themselves hidden while they've been bouncing, well, they've been bouncing from building to building. So if they've lost track of how many players are inside here.
No one peeked the window. How did that happen? Nice timing on the push. A little unfortunate for Orange just on the reload. He had like 27 bullets. He really didn't need to. Unity falling like flies. The Knights have breached, and it looks like they're winning. Blast on. Where is Tizerin in this? Is he? Yeah, he's next to him. He's right next to him. That nade could be good. It could force him back. It's done that. That's going to slow them down because Drayden needs a revive, as is wanted. Tizerin on the push, but Znark's holding the cross. Really nice positioning from Znark to be aware of that. Reload time might cost him. No, it doesn't. He peeks back out. He knows the two players are still in those buildings. He's kept it safe. He's done his job.
And he's reading this so well. Guesstimating where he's going to be pushing off the back of. He's watching every single corner here. And to hold that cross has allowed the move.
Whoa, that nade! How did he get that through?
I have no idea, but there's no cross holding, no angle to deny that one. He's posted that bad boy and taken down two of them. Shaving the back lines and move on board with Reciprocity on the transition. Damage is done, and again, this eastern side is still scattered with teams. G2 are in a 2-2 split. Rec are going chasing in the blue M19 just ahead of the game. Rec have split again, one player all the way down low. Rafi's watching the back lines. ENCE have been forced to disengage and maybe re-rotate. Drayden will finally bleed out. Is denied by Blaston, just playing off the back of this balcony. So really good grenade to get it through. God knows how he did it, and there's no avoiding it. One of those is just posted through you. Gotta just say, GG, WP, accept the death. And it's been a big commitment for this compound. Both, damage across both sides. Losing manpower moving forward's not going to be good as
Have we seen
Circle
this
does
circle
update.
before?
I like to think so.
I feel as though we've seen these circles before.
And kind of the same teams. The only one I'm not seeing involved deep is G2. Sometimes G2, they like to play underneath that rock side where the pipe comes from water treatment and backs off the mountains. TSM have played it well instead of going to their usual location where NIP are just overlooking that entire thing. They've gone for a 2-2 split inside the water treatment, and that's good because you can lock that bad boy down. That's the biggest compound and the most pivotal compound now in this circle if you want to bounce off the back of it.
It could be. The amount of times we've seen it shift eventually out of there.
It's just the escape routes it gives you, right?
Yeah, it does give you plenty of options. Blaston, speaking of options, could do some real damage here. He's in between a rock and a hard place. Get the teammate up, try and work off the back of that, but he's got two players right around him. All these players, all these teams trying to consolidate themselves in that new circle. FaZe going to go on the far northern shift from the west. A lot of the teams went for the eastern play. Blaston has got himself over the wall. Does he even consider a revive? I don't think he's being shot at anymore, but it might be just time to go. Yeah, Tizerin's been found by Vitality. So a bit of a third party there, not far off from it. Blaston going to try and make a mad dash. Jazza connecting from far away in that barn. You can see him quite far off. So the Knights do maintain the compound. Lost out on circle positioning really here. The jump ahead. NIP is sending it right towards Raise Your Edge. Hold on, Vard is on the way. Yeah, Vard and Mirik are going to pull up on this. Varsrael has the perfect angle. He's only good for one. He is safe for the box at least, so he can't get flushed. Sigsy trying to run back over to this. I don't think that's the right thing to be doing. You might have to cut your losses at this point. There's a third party. Mirik who's been flushed by Liquid. Menox is still alive, but for how long? He's desperately trying to get a heal off. Might just chuck a nade down to buy him a couple of seconds. That's the play from him. And for the rest of Raise Your Edge, you might just have to stand and watch this happen.
Last player there for Unity was caught. Wild transition. 3 players, though, flushing the balcony. You've got to run, my friend, otherwise you're going to be going down. Exits the building. There's one waiting for him, and he's taken down. Bad sees him. Easy kill. Confirm. Collected. Job done. So NIP lose one during this engagement. They don't get the initial point from the knock that came through. That was stolen by Liquid in the distance. FaZe hiding behind, but that will go to them should nobody be able to find them. And Liquid, well, they want to get eyes on this. They've smelled the fight going down. The bleed out comes through, so the point is confirmed. Are Liquid eyeing this up to make a push in it? That's the question. Because they're on the edge of the circle and they don't like to play edge.
No, they don't, but I don't see much in front of them. They might just have to say the compound in the east, wait for the rest of the kind of dust to settle, especially in the north. Look at FaZe, M19, Reciprocity, all clashing over there. And for the rest of Raise Your Edge, they just need to hunker down. There's nothing more they can do about that one. Maybe pick up some points on the way, get a couple of kills. That'd be ideal, but beyond that, you're playing late game now. NIP, we've said it before, time and time again, 2-2 splits are great, but teams are now willing to challenge them. They scout properly. They've counted heads. They know what's up, and they're willing to take that risk, and it's paid dividends for NIP. New Circle can be quite punishing for a lot of teams here, I can imagine. Let's see where this one heads.
That's exactly what James is doing, and why he's over here on the row side on his own, gets to an elevated position. He's watching, he's waiting. And you know what? The circle's actually been favorable to them, so they can just take a compound. They don't have to bomb it into mid if they don't want to, unless James hasn't seen any of G2 inside the central compound. Do they send it? Do they flush it? He has to be really careful he doesn't creep too close to CrowCrowd, because I don't think they know they're up there. They don't have the vehicles out. They are on foot.
Oh, Vitality trying to swing over towards Team Liquid. All the players, they might just be out of line of sight now, but they'll be cresting up on that hillside anytime soon.
Do ENCE water treatment.
Oh,
Imagine.
I want to see Vitality right now, because they're crashing right towards Liquid.
Winstrike.
Yeah, they're right next to each other as well. This is going to be a race towards the... Oh my god, Squeaky. Oh my god, no! The car, it's done him in. Oh, the bike, should I say. It spun him around. Squeaky's still alive, but for how long is the bigger question here. Temmie's got great line of sight on this, silhouetting perfectly over that hill. Squeaky can't get away. A bullet to the heels will do the job, as ENCE now left with 2. A bit of a clash there, to say the least. And on the fence, Rory awaits.
Oh my god.
Punishment. And now from above, you're seeing more fire coming through. You've got FaZe now moving up towards the northern hillside. This is going to be a bloody battle from all fronts.
Nabi's just mopping up whatever's left over on that hillside. Liquid, they are making advancements towards Vitality. We have to get eyes on that fight because they are against the road and they're up against the blue. There's no way to go. Once this fight's all said and done, it will be King of the Mountain. It's on the back of a hillside. DA can also get involved in this, and so can NIP. They have that central compound, and more importantly, they have range and they have line of sight with it being an elevated position. Pre-nade wasn't fast enough, but it is cooked. It's primed. Does it do the damage? Sets up against the car. Just gets away with his life.
That is so damn close. Now, how are they holding on to this one, Reciprocity? They've got the good side of the compound, I guess. And yes, that nade from Rafi is excellent. That does carry on what was started. More nades, really get the ball rolling. Haxetti's on the way. Tab could maybe hinder them, and he is. Look at this. Oh my god, Tab, you're lucky to be alive. Haxetti runs him over, but they lose Shiv in the process. Haxetti is barely standing. Where's Kemba? Kemba's still in the hills, so there's a chance there could be a revive there. Haxetti needs the heal, though. That's his instant thought. He needs to get himself healthy. Kemba maybe looking to try and punish Shiv from this, and it's Elite player to steal that. FaZe have just moved in towards TSM as well. FaZe have just gone to the east side of water treatment.
It's kind of clever because they knew Michael and Winstrike were actually kicking off on that side, so they opted to go more central and deeper, to be honest. They have to be really careful that M19 doesn't strike them in the back. The Vitality battle with Liquid still continues, though. Kramer and Jazza, they go on. James down, they go. Samty holds the line. Ibi, he's next to fall. What's the play? Do you go for the res or do you keep going for the flush here? The push might be real. Wookie finds Mexi. That's in the kill feed. That's a grenade up and over. So him and Gustav are holding FaZe back and giving them a warning sign. Same for Samty. He's forced inside the compound. They're safe for now, but Liquid, they have been broken. They have been damaged. And I think they're going to lose out on 2 for this one.
I agree. I don't see them holding on for this for too long. They can maybe hunker down far enough. I don't know how many eyes are now turning towards Vitality. I know NIP could definitely see Team Liquid who are in that position. I don't know if they're going to be popping shots. Yes, they are. That little bit of a tag there is definitely from NIP. So not alone in this, but that water treatment. Na'Vi have turned up as well, and here they come. Bestwatch going to pop some tricks. He on X Games mode just gets the hell in there. So we've got TSM in between FaZe Clan, M19 on the hill. And M19 has just found Senya. That's a pickup from afar. That's above all these other teams. Rory, Gustav, Wookie, did they lose out on their player? I don't see their 4th man. So yes, they must have lost out of him at some point in this process. Temmie's still alive, but for how long? Going to be forced forward from the blue. G2 and NIP sitting pretty.
Let's see who gets really proactive here and who goes first. Out of all these 4 teams on the western side, who pushes that hill? We've seen Liquid do wonderful work there. Yes, you can lay on the road and you can basically just hide your entire body from teams that are down below and you can just watch all the madness unfold. But whichever team is very, very quick off the heels here and gets up that hill can basically just watch all these unfold, and all the people that have to come out of water treatment, they're in trouble. FaZe have gone early. M19, that's the warning shot. They have to turn around now. Where's your response, boys?
Wait for Elite Player. He should have the off angle. He should have the push here. Uber's still on the play. He's trying to get the nade up and over, and that looks quite nice towards Constantine. Yes, it is! Excellent grenade, and where is Elite Player in all of this? He was the one meant to be holding this push safe, and simply put, he did not see it happen. And now his teammates have been slaughtered, and he is all alone, and he did nothing to hinder this one. Look at the angle he had. If he peeked up and tried support, that could have been done. He does take out Fuzzface. That should be flushed, I can imagine. Team Liquid have fallen. That was to the nade from Znark of all people. They must have turned up out of the blue there. And now DA are being held back in the south as well. But Elite Player doing damage, but Uber and 80 want to get back into this.
The FaZe Clan Death Squad is here to wipe out all enemy snakes behind them. Elite Player does have his grenade, and this is where he will make his last stand. Who else can you take with you before you go down? Let's see what damage is in the tank. Nothing. Bullet to the brain settles that score. Gustav goes down. Wookie answers back. Now V have also just fallen victim to the Wharton treatment plant, but the problem is, raise your edge. They've ejected themselves out the back of their building, and now FaZe Clan can get back on the fight. Yes, they lost 2. But this is going to be difficult because you're basically pinned inside that building now. Where do you go from there? It's an uphill battle, and 2 teams are just waiting with open hands for 3 points once they do make their way towards it. While all this has been going down in the back line, we've seen Liquid fall, Vitality have kept 4 alive, I think.
Reciprocity of 3, G2
Knights have done so
good.
much damage. Yep. It's just been a mess, and that all comes off of that full Eastern rotation, all the teams just meeting each other rather early.
Yeah, let's see who wins on this water treatment exit. TSM have kept a couple alive. I think Rory got flushed by Temi in the end. I think it was Winstrike who picked that point up, but still, FaZe Clan moved early. They moved north. They had to fight M19. They should have the step to the circle, but it looks like Reciprocity have vision on this. Wookie, your last man standing for TSM. And this blue hurts like hell. He can get a heal off, but oh, I say that. Yes, he can. 3 HP, just about. But you can see the timing is not on his side. He needs to make a move into that circle soon enough. Raise Your Edge has found a way back towards that compound that NIP currently maintain. Wookie should be able to get in on this one. Still has 4 heals. He should be okay. I keep saying should because there's a chance he gets the timing wrong. And again, still going to chug on forward. He can just run through now. No one should be able to have vision on this unless there's a really weird angle. And actually, the circle plays very nicely to it. If he can just get safe for a bit, he should be fine. Raise Your Edge going to work up on the western front. NIP still safe. G2 still safe. FaZe okay. Reciprocity, Vitality, the Knights and DA have to find a way in. And it's a bit of a death valley in between them.
G2 will hold Rec at gunpoint. And the essential way to get this is to smoke up the building, throw them all out, deny line of sight, and just work your way through with vehicles. Everyone else on Vitality. And there's one road in, smack bang in the middle. There's a couple of shacks which they might be able to... In fact, they're not even shacks, excuse me, they're hay bales.
Yep.
So you can bop between them, but then you've got G2 who can see you from the back line. So really, your only option here is to push NIP. Raise Your Edge, they lost this building. So for the last remaining players there, Chris and Sigsy, if they can take control of it, it would be a big pickup. Wookie wants to do whatever he can. 2 players of FaZe know exactly where he is. Grenades are going to start to rain in. And this could be it. Uber might have the information. Doesn't quite find it. And the fight for survival on that eastern front has now begun.
Yeah, Vitality moved first, and DA kind of just lingered a little bit too far behind. In the process, Nasus was lost, but they still maintained some players here. Shadow, Jazza, Kramer trying to make a run, but it's going to be Reciprocity now from up north who can get vision on this, but they've got other problems. They've got G2 looking out those windows in perfect cover. Reciprocity proning their way down, desperately trying to get forward and forward and forward. Only one team I think can make it out of this. And so far, Shadow is actually making some really good progress towards it. Real's going to try and make a play. He's right in the middle of the field. It's not ideal, to say the very least. Oh, my word. This 8 times is rough to handle, but Uber's showing him how it's done.
Vitality falling at the mercy of 2 teams. Shadow now also going to be exposed to the backside of Reciprocity.
I think Reals is in, so he's done enough.
There's some... Udir and Chris might overextend here just to punish whatever's left of Rec. This is just messy. This is all kinds of messy. And that falls down to the circle, bopping all the way to the west and leaving the entirety of that mountainside and the cornfield down below exposed, and everyone just open to the elements and bullets that are flying their way. Reals, I'm impressed you're alive, I'll give you that. How much further you can go after this is a different question, but still.
He's lucky for now that G2 are preoccupied. If they turned around, they should have perfect line of sight on them. FaZe yet to really move Wookie out of this position either. That's the more impressive part. Wookie's still there. He's been holding on for a while.
Uber's actually damaged. I've just copped for no helmet there, so if Wookie gets a really good spray here, he could challenge this 1 versus 2. And Shadow has been gifted. How in God's name have you ended up with that?
Lucky boy.
Oh my word.
Yeah, now FaZe need to get rid of Wookie. They know he's there. They've made contact before. They could probably work out the positioning. There goes Reals. He stayed alive for a nice chunk of time. Going out in 7th, not bad for the Knights considering. Raise your edge. Are now starting to shot. Oh, Chris, you dirty
helmet.
shot. You said it. The no helmet, it really does hinder you these days. It's not going to help you out down the line. If Wookie's heard that, he might decide to have a go at it. He might have a crack. He knows who's there. Yeah, he is. Look at this. As soon as you see that not coming in on the kill feed, you're like, okay, maybe I'll have a look. Maybe I'll consider it. He doesn't want to overextend for it, sure. Now, Shadow, you said it. How's he got in this position? But G2 taking big circle position.
Still 4 up here, so they can play the 2-2 and work together. Finally, Wookie is exposed. He lands the headshot, but can't follow it through circles there, and he should be down. Yes,
stolen.
He is.
Look at Chris. He's just stolen Uber again. He's just absolutely battered FaZe. ENCE, I think, is your one-man standing up there. Yes, he's going to have to leave Uber. There's no way you can get him with this blue. Shadow is desperately not wanting to make a move. If he can avoid that at all costs, that'd be wonderful. And another kill for Chris. He's going to be trying to do the work. This is towards NIP, though. NIP is the big danger for them because now they have to get into that compound. They have to move past it. They were the ones who took this position over before, if you remember, with, I think it was one of Winstrike's player trying to take this compound against Na'Vi. So certainly versed in this. ENCE trying to stay alive, but he's got G2 staring him down. Chris has turned up in the car, going to try and get out of that one. Not got a heal off, though. Bit dangerous, bit risky, but maybe the positioning is more paramount. The nade is good, and that's Gaxie's. That's always going to be the issue when you fight NIP.
Yeah, turning up to a fight less than 50% HP is always going to be a dangerous one.
Oh, nice shot from Chris.
Lobs a nade through the window. Easy pickup, knocks him. That was a level 3 gear as well. With an AUG, that could have been their one chance to make a push on that building and wipe out who was left in there. But it won't be happening. We saw this battle last week, actually, where Raise Your Edge won it out against Na'Vi on this exact compound, but this time, Chris...
Only 2 holding it here.
The overextension doesn't work. NIP come out strong, and the compound is theirs. G2, though, look at them. They're flooding. They're happy. Not many... I don't think they've got too many kills. They might have...
I think they've been nicking a couple here and there. It's not their usual edge play. They've been gifted a nice spot at the circle, and for NIP, they only have 2 players. They need Shadow to get involved in this. I don't know how well G2 have scouted. They might realize there's only 2. They might then realize there's got to be a snake, or they may just not have spotted them. So they're really not 100% sure. There is danger for Shadow in the fact that he could spring up. Kane must have like 10 fog to not see him there. Shadow gets down. 1 trade is available, and it happens. NIP, now is the time to strike if you could. They're not that close. Gaxie's still in the compound with a mini, maybe trying to find a bit of a crossfire. It's MBS. Slow walking that hillside, bit of contact made. I think the nade came through, and as the heal comes out, G2 can again get themselves in a good spot here. Gaxie first contact, spams like a champ, hits nothing, and now is very, very vulnerable. Oh, that's done for. Gaxie's on no HP. MBS has just been found. Gaxie, 2 HP in a dream, and the dreams are dashed. The nightmare of G2 from up on the hill comes to life.
Back-to-back games to receive the winning team, taking 4 into the final circle. And then just accepting every single challenge which comes their way. Squaring up a little bit earlier on, get ahead of the game, deny anyone else foothold in that compound they were holding. Pays dividends and allows them an easy access into the circle. Good job from your solo players and your 2s at the end, though, to stay alive. Shadow, don't know how you managed to get 3rd spot, but you did regardless. Wookie made an attempt on FaZe Clan, but it was shoon dashed by everyone else on the third parties that could see that fight from a distance. Unfortunately I say that for Reals, to be fair, for the fight that the Knights took at the start to get into, I think it was the top 7.
It's not bad going.
It's a good little effort playing with nothing, really, with 2 players.
And I think it's the first time in a while we've seen G2 how they play when they get central. They're a little bit quieter. You know, they weren't, they're hyper-aggressive team. You know, sometimes when they play that edge game, they're forced to fight. They're more than happy to do it. That seemed like a little bit of a different personality, but it's good they can do both, you know? Get you a team who can do both.
I think they are, for me, one of the most disciplined teams in the league. If it comes to a point where they have circle, they keep control of it. They know how to work with what they have, and they deal with it. But should they have to go aggressive, when you have someone like Chris and his spray control is just absolutely disgustingly nutty, it's good that you can play both sides of that coin, and you know which time it is. And I think their IGL work is just amazing. Being able to make a call, it's okay, we're going to sit here now, we have the circle, let's work with what we have. But when it's time to strike, if you want to take a position off somebody, they do it, and they do it so well.
Yeah, we're seeing it more and more. I mean, NIP were the ones who crashed right into that compound, took it away from that 2-2 split from Raise Your Edge. Remember, that was still a factor, and NIP did manage to get second in the end. So we're seeing more and more of these teams having that confidence. I think, as you said, though, G2 are one of the big players who can definitely do that, not afraid to fight, and they always seem to come out with minimum 3 alive.